Luke Reimer back again, Flurry Sports. We got pick 2 of our Dynasty startup drafts. So following video is if you have the number 2 pick in a Dynasty startup draft. There'll be 2 videos here. First one, just regular Dynasty half PPR, 10-team league. 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, and 7 bench spots. Go back and watch the first one if you're looking for the number 1 pick, a strategy for that. So with the number 2 pick, we're assuming that Jamar Chase goes first. That's why I'm removing Brock Bowers here, which means we take Justin Jefferson, who is very similar to Jamar Chase, and those are probably the 2 best players for a Dynasty League right now, just because they're the 2 best receivers in the league. They're both incredibly young at 25 years old. It's a perfect base to start your team with. So coming back, we would have loved to see Ashton Genty or even Saquon Barkley. But looking through, I don't hate Joe Burrow here, but I like running backs more, so I'm going Devon Achane, who's still a young, proven guy already. Then coming back, we're going to take Amari and Hampton, who I love in Harbaugh's new system there at the Chargers. He's a big, pounded-out guy, and we know that Harbaugh is going to want to run the ball, especially with all the pressure that Justin Herbert is seemingly always under. Looking at it, I love Jalen Hurts, only 26 years old. We know that he's going to be at the top of the league in rushing touchdowns every single year, which is incredible out of a quarterback. But again, I don't know how you can pass up running backs here. Josh Jacobs, Christian McCaffrey. I'm looking at Patrick Mahomes. I like Jalen Hurts a little bit more than Patrick Mahomes. The pick of Josh Jacobs. Packers are going to run the ball. Josh Jacobs was a stud last year. I don't see that, going by the wayside. We would have liked to see Jalen Hurts available there, but since he's not, can't go wrong with Patrick Mahomes. He's still going to be good. The Chiefs are still one of the better teams in the league with great offensive line, great defense, great run game. Patrick Mahomes is going to be the Chiefs quarterback for a long time. So now we're looking. I don't hate Tyler Warren here. The Colts needed a big pass target. That's what they got. Terry McLaurin's also an interesting pick. We saw what he did last year in kind of a new revamped offense with Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. George Pickens, it's a really interesting play to go at Dallas. He should have, less of pressure for him to be good. But I'm going Tyler Warren. Indianapolis, like I said, needs that big pass catcher. They got it. Anthony Richardson and both Daniel Jones, who have struggled with accuracy issues in the past, now have a big body target that they can always rely on. And then I'm going to go Terry McLaurin. Jaden Daniels is a stud. Terry McLaurin had his best season as a pro last year. I'm going to ride that as long as I can. So I like what we're putting together here. I still would like to get some running back depth. We're looking to see Tyrone Tracy. We see David Montgomery go. We're also down a receiver right now. I don't hate Luther Burden. He's stepping into that Ben Johnson offense in Chicago, probably playing out of the slot. I don't see why he can't be at least 50 to 75% of what Amon-Ra St. Brown has been, which if you're getting that, as the 8th, that's in the 8th round, it's only going to develop. I'm taking it there. Michael Penix is a stud. J.J. McCarthy I like a lot. Kevin O'Connell is the quarterback whisperer. He made Sam Darnold into a great quarterback, got Sam Darnold paid. I'd like to see what he does with J.J. McCarthy. But looking at running back, we're looking at receivers, Jaden Reed, Trey Harris, Jalen McMillan. Right now, we're just kind of building depth anywhere we can. Even quarterback, I think, is on the table here. If Patrick Mahomes were to go down with an injury, or if you wanted to get really young here. Tight end, I think we can kind of stay away from. There's not much really that speaks to us. But just looking at the top of the list here, like I said, Jaden Reed, Trey Harris, even Jalen McMillan, J.J. McCarthy. Brock Purdy's an interesting one that I think we can hold off on for now. Bo Nix, I'm interested to see, but I go Jordan Love. Jordan Love is only 26 years old. He's a Packers guy. They've made that abundantly clear. He's only going to be the Packers quarterback for at least the next 10 years, barring a major injury. I would have loved to take Cam Scatterbo here, but since he's gone, we're looking down at the top chart here. Tucker Kraft, I don't really love. James Conner, DeAndre Swift, I don't love them. We take Devontae Adams. I've said it in the past, but he finally is going to see, a little off coverage. with Puka Nacua being such a target hog. So I love Devontae Adams for especially a win now. You're only getting a couple of years out of him, which I don't think is a bad thing. That'll be a nice couple of years. Then I went Trey Benson. Nobody's really talking about it, but Arizona didn't really do anything to improve their backfield in the offseason so far. James Conner is getting old quick, and Trey Benson, they drafted him to be the guy. After 1 year in the league, I think this is a year he can be the guy. My next two picks here, we're looking down. We see Jalen Noel, we see Jacoby Myers, we see J.K. Dobbins, Kate Otten, Xavier Legette, Evan Ingram, Cooper Kupp. This is kind of the area where you don't really love anyone. You're just looking for a guy that can fill the depth. I did take Jack Beck before to bring that, just to kind of that youth at the receiver position. The Raiders are an interesting play here because Genty Wright is obviously an instant upgrade at the running back position. Should be, something to jumpstart their offense. But they also have Geno Smith, right, playing a quarterback now. So Geno Smith has been one of the best quarterbacks against pressure the last couple of years, which made me go Jack Beck. And then I kind of supplemented with Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers has been very underrated over his career. One of those guys are going to get targets outside of Brock Bowers. It's probably going to be Jacoby Myers and then Jack Beck. So going either of them, going both of them there, I don't hate that at all. Our last couple picks here, I'm going Travis Kelce. We have Patrick Mahomes. It's a tight end quarterback stack. If you don't truly believe in Tyler Warren, Travis Kelce is old for sure, but there's still a lot of years left on him. He's got 3 years where he can be that open target for Mahomes and work the middle of the field, which we've seen for so long. The last pick the draft I took Jaden Blue, who I don't love. He's got outstanding speed, but he got put into a great situation in Dallas where Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams are both washed up. They don't really speak anything to me. Jaden Blue has an opportunity to get carries early, and with him being such a young age, if he can show something at least, within the first couple of weeks to start the year, I think he may have a career in Dallas ahead of him. So our second video here, we're going super flex. So we're just adding a quarterback / running back / wide receiver / tight end, which a lot of people are going to use for a quarterback. So basically a 2-quarterback league. Again, half PPR, 2 quarterbacks. So we're taking the second pick again. I assume every time it's going to be Josh Allen, so I'm taking Jaden Daniels. I'm willing to bet again that he has another great season, both passing and rushing. Cliff Kingsbury seemingly has found his quarterback, that Jaden Daniels is a better passer than Kyler Murray has ever been. So I really like Jaden Daniels being the foundation piece of our team. Looking again, like Justin Herbert's there, Caleb Williams there, CJ Stroud's there. I don't hate any of them. I do like Saquon, though. We can get him for 3 more years, at least 3 more years, and we have a pretty good start to a base for a win-now team. Going off of that, I'm taking Amari and Hampton. Like I said before, I love what the Chargers are going to get with Amari and Hampton. He can be a workhorse guy. He might not be that immediately, but I don't think there's a scenario where he's totally out of the offense in his rookie year. Looking now, the one name here speaks to me. It's Jackson Smith-Njigba. We saw how good he was. I'm not scared that Cooper Kupp's there, considering they both kind of play the same position. Jackson Smith-Njigba is just too good of a player to not get targets, and we're following that up with Jonathan Taylor, who's still quite a young player in a run-first offense, especially with Anthony Richardson at quarterback. To really get Anthony Richardson going, if the Colts really trust him, you need that inside game going, and we kind of saw that with Jonathan Taylor to end the year last year, plus what we saw out of him, a couple of years ago. Looking ahead, Xavier Worthy is going to be involved in this Chiefs offense. I don't think he takes a Travis Kelce role per se, but he's a guy who will be used in the middle of the field to get open, to just find those, those breaks in the defense, and then once he gets the ball in his hands, he is electric to go. I'm following it up again with Tyler Warren for that same reason I said before. He's a guy who will step into a starting spot immediately and should immediately garner targets, opposite of Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. So looking ahead here, I would have loved to have R.J. Harvey, but we're going J.J. McCarthy as our second quarterback. Like I said, Kevin O'Connell's that quarterback whisperer, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones. It's an incredible core around him. And J.J. McCarthy is only going to get better under the tutelage of Kevin O'Connell. I follow that up with Jameson Williams, who I'm willing to take a risk on. It doesn't feel like it should be a risk, but with Jameson Williams, he's a big play guy. But given what we saw last year, even though it was with Ben Johnson, he did kind of show everyone why he was drafted so high. I think Dan Campbell's smart enough to get that going. They hired within, so Jameson Williams should not be phased out of the offense. His position should not be taken out of the offense. He'll be fine moving forward. Coming back looking for running back depth, looking for quarterback depth, just kind of looking for anything that really speaks to me here. Like you see Ricky Pearsall there, who I love moving forward. I think he can kind of work that slot position now that Deebo Samuel's out of the picture. He's a really great route runner who should be open for Brock Purdy. And then coming back, Trey Benson. I talked about him before, just that he should be the owner of that Cardinals running room in, I'm going to guess, half a year to 2 years. So looking forward, I don't hate going quarterback here. I'm going Jack Beck, though. It's hard to pass up rookies this late, especially guys who should be, starting within at least a couple of weeks of his rookie year. Scrolling down to see Calvin Ridley, but again, I think quarterback might be the play here. Bryce Young, I'm not totally sold on. Tua, you never know with those injuries. Justin Fields is a really interesting one, but we know what Jets quarterbacks end up being. Ramondre Stevenson's nothing that really speaks to me that Travion Henderson's going to be taking over the backfield sooner than later. Receivers, I end up going with Cooper Kupp in the off chance of that Cooper Kupp, Jackson Smith, and Jigba situation, infers on each other. Cooper Kupp is still a good player. He's just been dealing with a lot of injuries. Sam Darnold has worked well with slot receivers in his career, so Cooper Kupp is a pick. Then I'm going Jackson Dart, who should start not this year but next year. I like what the Giants are doing offensive line. I like what they're doing at defense. I think the Giants are kind of on the right trajectory here to being somewhat of a contender in the NFC East. And then I follow up with Jawan Jennings, which I understand why people are low on him, but I don't understand. We saw what he's done without, Brandon Ayuk, without George Kittle, or without Deebo Samuel in the lineup. Deebo Samuel's not there. Jawan Jennings is a guy who's just a solid guy. He's young enough where he can contribute a little bit, and he's a guy that, he's always going to have a 3-touchdown game that you can always sell high on. Last pick of the draft here, Terrence Ferguson, who should slot in as that number 2 tight end behind Tyler Higbee at the Rams. Higbee's had his own injury history, and Ferguson is just an athlete. He's a guy who's going to get open, he's going to make routes, and he's got great run after the skills. So here's our team. I like the Jaden Daniels Saquon start. Fuck yeah!